One thing that you might not anticipate when you make a move abroad is admin overload. Yes, this is a term that one of the members of my program used in a coaching call recently. And I wanted to share a little bit about my thoughts on what this is, how I've experienced it, and how you might be able to minimize the effects of this kind of stress. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are new here, welcome, and consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell, because what that does is that notifies you each time that I upload a video about moving abroad, life in France, or finding the confidence and courage to live life on your terms. I'm Patricia Brooks, and that's exactly what I did 5 years ago. I found the confidence and courage to leave my job, my project management job, and move to the south of France and take a couple years sabbatical before I started a new business coaching women who want to make a move abroad confidently and sustainably. In this video, I'm going to talk about admin overload. Yes, it's a real thing. It typically happens when you are starting over in a new place. Now, when you make a move abroad, it is much, much more stressful than making a move domestically, although making a move domestically ranks really, really high in the stress level area. One of the things that makes moving abroad and starting over so challenging is that sometimes you have the language barrier. Sometimes you don't understand how things work. Sometimes it's just you're doing everything all at once, where you're setting everything up. And so for me, my first year here in France, I had some stress, but I didn't have the level of stress that I've had recently. And I'm going to tell you why. When I first got to France, I was coming on a sabbatical. I wasn't going to go to a new job. I wasn't going to start school soon after I got here. And so I had some free time to absorb or have some downtime so that the stress did not get to me. I also rented an Airbnb, so I didn't have the challenge of getting electricity and internet turned on. And so that's, those are things that can be stressful. I did, however, had to open a bank account. I did have to get a French cell phone. I did have to deal with the visa process on this side. And so there were definitely things that I found challenging. Oh, and yeah, there was the problem with my first apartment that had that horrible smell of slur gas that I had to leave after 2 weeks' time and figure out how to get out of the lease. Oh, I needed a medical certificate, by the way. Then I had to find a new place. Turned out to be a little more expensive, so that was stressful. But overall, I wouldn't consider myself having admin overload during my first year here. So that's not to say I haven't experienced it. Over the last 6 or 7 months, a lot of things have bubbled up for me that have created a bit more stress around administrative things. So starting in September timeframe of last year was when I needed to renew my Profession Libérale visa. Now, this is a visa that I got back in 2021 so that I could start my business here. And through the course of that year, I needed to build up my business to a level where the French government would deem me viable to renew that visa. And so the last couple of months before that was a bit stressful. I had to go into an appointment, which was stressful. I had to do my business plan in French, which was stressful because I realized this about a week before I had my appointment. So I had to hire somebody to translate it for me. So that was all stressful. Then I had to wait the 3 or 4 weeks it took for them to process my visa to see if I would be able to stay in France. All very, very stressful. No problem though, because that came through. I got a visa renewed for 4 years. So this year I don't have to worry about that, right? That feels really good. So that was, I think, the thing that kicked this admin overload off for me. Then in October, my doctor, who I'd had since the very beginning, in fact, he was my landlord, he retired. and I had to find a new doctor. And I didn't think it would be that big of a deal. But here in France, there's a shortage of doctors, especially in more rural areas. And so it took me about 3.5 months to find my new doctor. And that was stressful because I would call here and I'd call there, and nobody was really able to send me in the right direction. I asked the pharmacist, and very stressful. So that's taken care of, right? But just another administrative hurdle. Come November, my US tax firm decided that they were going to kick me to the curb because I was small beans. And so I didn't have somebody to do my US taxes after being with them for 4 or 5 years. And so I had to find somebody else that was suitable for me. And that took up until about 2 weeks ago, right? Tax time is coming up, to find somebody. And so that was something that was hanging over my head too. That's taken care of. Then as a part of the visa process, I had to go through a series of French civil classes, and they were interesting, but they were time consuming. And in order to apply for a 10-year resident card or for citizenship, I also had to take this TCF exam, Test de Connaissance du Français. And that all started bubbling up in the December timeframe. And so I was worried about that. I was studying for that. It was like, oh, I know I can speak the language well, but will I be able to show that on this 4-part test where you have to do an oral part, you have to have oral comprehension, you have to have written comprehension, you have to actually write. And so that was all a buildup of that. Oh, will I be able to pass that test? And then when was the test going to be? Because for about a month, it was like, oh, well, we'll let you know when it's going to happen. And so I was worried about that. So that happened in the middle of January. But I found out about 2 weeks beforehand. And so I was like, oh no, I haven't studied enough. So you get the message. So anyway, I took the exam. It was a great stress relief just to have it behind me. And that was great. But about a week later, I get a call from them saying, oh, you need to come back and take the oral part of the exam again. What? Did I do horribly? Why are they calling me? Turns out there was a problem with the recording. And so that we all 12 or 14 of us who went through that exam process that day had to do that. Talk about stress. So, and in the meantime, my US passport needed to be renewed. So I started the process in Marseille. I sent my passport via express mail. They got it. They processed it quickly. They sent it back. And I hadn't heard anything for about 3 weeks. So I contacted them. They're like, oh yeah, we sent that weeks ago. You didn't get it? Turns out it was at the delivery service. And for whatever reason, they chose not to deliver it to me, and they sent it back. And so I had a choice. I could send the American consulate another express envelope for costing 30 euros and wonder if I would still get it. Or I could get on a train, take the 4-hour train ride to Marseille and pick it up myself. Stress. So all of that to say, that has been my admin overload over the last few months. And I didn't really realize that this was a thing until the member of my program said, oh yeah, this admin overload is real, and it's something that I'm working through myself. And she's not in France, she's in another country, but I was like, yeah, this is a topic that really needs to be spoken about. So this is something you might not be even thinking about, but it's good to be hearing this, because when you're aware of it, then you can plan for it, right? All right. So have you ever experienced admin overload, just moving, maybe not even internationally, but domestically? Give this video a thumbs up if you've ever experienced that. So I've gone through this harrowing experience of one administrative thing to do after another, that has created some stress in my life. And so what can you do about that? Well, the first thing that I would recommend is to make sure, if you're moving to a country that has a foreign language, learn the language as well as you can, because that is going to give you a degree of confidence that you're going to be able to navigate more easily, right? So that is my number one tip. How do you learn a new language? Well, I've done a couple of videos about that. I'll put a link to one of them up here so that you can get some tips. How do you learn a language? There are so many different pieces and parts. One thing that can help you to learn a language is by watching TV shows and movies and documentaries and news in that foreign language. If you're working on learning French, I've got a resource for you. French Channel and I are in partnership. French Channel is the #1 international streaming service dedicated to French culture and entertainment. And they have the largest library of French movies, French TV series, French shows, TV shows for kids, documentaries where you can discover France through travel, through cooking, through fashion, history, and so much more. And all of the programs are accessible to an English audience through English or French subtitles. And I recently found this program in the Discover France section called 1000 Countries in One. And what this is each episode takes you to a different place in France so you can explore. And so the beauty of this is if you're considering a move abroad and aren't really sure where you want to move, you can do some research this way. And it's such high quality. The reason I like that show is because it can help me to figure out where I'm going to visit next in France. And I think that a trip to Martinique is in my future. So anyway, if you're interested in subscribing to French Channel, either monthly or annually, they have generously given me a promo code where my viewers can get 15% off. And that is Patricia 15. I'll put that along with the link to French Channel in the description. Take advantage of that if that interests you. All right. So learning the language is one way that you can help to reduce admin overload. What else can you do? Well, I think it's important to be aware. When you're aware, then you can plan for it. You can say, oh yeah, this is what Patricia was talking about. I'm feeling a little bit overloaded here. And then you can do something about it. Being aware also allows you to maybe plan better so that maybe you're not doing 5 stressful administrative tasks in the same week. And if you're going to start school right away or a new job right away, it's imperative for you to block time off on your calendar so that you can do things to de-stress, whether that's taking a run, whether that is doing some meditation, what have you. It is so vital in order to de-stress. Another thing that I did when I was going through the visa renewal process was I visualized myself going through the process, going into the meeting, and that everything went smoothly. And that was something that, it was like a dress rehearsal, and that was something that kind of gave me a little more confidence going into that. So visualization is also a great tool to use. And you might want to get professional help. That is always something that can help you work through stressful times in your life. All right. Now, I know that the women in my program absolutely love the idea that there is lifetime access, which means that once they make their move abroad and maybe they're experiencing some of this admin overload, that they can get on a coaching call and they can talk through what they're going through, and that we can create a plan so that they can get to a place where they don't feel so overloaded. All right. If you might be interested in that, I would love to have a conversation. And so I'm going to put a link to my calendar in the description where you can find a time for us to talk about where it is you want to go, what might be holding you back, and see if working with me could help you get there sooner and with less stress. So that is all I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.